Welcome back to episode 5 of the Double Down podcast presented by Waterwave. Today is Friday, October 14th, and I'm very excited to have a special guest in the studio with me today. Our guest is a University of Minnesota alum, a former Golden Gopher basketball player of 6 years. The former 4-star recruit from Memphis, Tennessee, was a top 120 recruit in the class of 2016, a two-time Gopher captain, and the winner of the Big Ten Sportsmanship Award, my buddy, Eric Curry.
That makes me sound way cooler than I actually am, but that's fire, though.
Yes, you already know. But I'm super happy to have you, Eric. Eric's actually in town for the Big Ten Media Day. He's working with the Big Ten now, so he's back in Minneapolis, back in town. How's it feel? Just initially, we'll start with that. How's it feel to be back in town? Is it different? Is it weird?
Yeah, it's definitely weird, man. But I feel like I'm an adult now, a true adult. But it's cool though, just to see the other side of things, working for the conference and stuff like that. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. We're happy to have you back, and we'll hopefully have you around practice a little bit this week and have you in the gym. But we want to talk your story. That's what we're here to do today. Yes, that's what the podcast is here to do. So let's kick it back to high school, to Southwest Christian Academy, Little Rock, Arkansas. Originally from Memphis, Tennessee, and then you commit to Minnesota. Kind of take us through your late years of high school and then that decision-making process to come up to the cold in Minnesota.
Yeah, so originally I cut my list down to 6 schools from all the scholarships I had, and I cut them down to Minnesota, Iowa State, Arkansas, Oklahoma State, Vandy, and that 6th school was SMU. But my choice going to Minnesota is actually a funny story. Me and my mom are huge football fans. So we when Ben Johnson, who's the head coach now in Minnesota, he called my phone and was like, let's get you on a visit here. Me and my mom seek that opportunity to come watch a football game, a good football game, because they was going against the number 2 team in the country at the time, which was TCU. They had a pretty good quarterback at the time. I don't know if everybody knows his name, but Trayvon Boykin. He was a Heisman hopeful. Me and my mom wanted to watch him play. So we just used the trip. In our heads, it was like, we're not going to Minnesota. We're just going to go use it to watch him play or whatever. So I got up here, man, and I already knew Amir Coffey. So we was on the same visit as well.
Who will hopefully have on the podcast here in the future. A little
hint. For sure. That's my dog. But we came on a visit together. I just wanted to spend time with him and just kick it, and I actually hit off pretty well. I got up here and I loved it. As soon as I landed, seeing the skyline downtown and going to the Mall of America was a big hit for my mom, but not me. But seeing the skyline, me being an inner city kid from a big city, which is in Memphis, but I loved it from the jump. Great weather. They kind of bamboozled me from the weather. It was like 90 in September, so that was pretty cool. And the game ended up going well, and I just felt like this was home. Literally, I know it's a cliche answer, but it felt like home.
Yeah, I mean, it became home for a long time, and now you're back. And it's I feel like we were talking in the street. It's like it just feels like you're back. It like even picking you up in the car. It's like, oh, that's just something that I would do every day. Like it doesn't feel like you're gone. But that's the kind of relationship we have as well. So, obviously you choose Minnesota. You get here. You have you come in as a 4-star recruit. You're a top 120 recruit. You're average. You're looking to come in and make a difference on this team. Obviously Jordan Murphy is a guy that's ahead of you at that point, but really tough player. So you got to grow and practice and all that from him. But you come in, you average 20 minutes a game, 5.5 points, 5 boards. Really solid stats. What was your first year kind of like at Minnesota? Like, what was your attitude coming in? How did it differ from the way you were on the court? How was that experience as a freshman in a new place for you?
Yeah, I would say me coming into college, not to rock my boat, but wherever I chose to go to school at, I knew I was going to play right away, so that wasn't even a factor for me. Mm-hmm. It was just could I get along with my teammates the right way and gel with those guys? And me coming in, my mindset was basically like everybody, just go to college, probably like 2 years most, and get up out of here. Mm-hmm. But obviously things change. But just having that mindset of me coming here for 2 years and trying to get up out of here, I knew I didn't have to average that many points. I knew I can just, off my size, and just show potential. I know that's what they draft off nowadays. Yeah. So me being versatile and me playing at different positions my freshman year obviously helped out. But it started out pretty strong. I would say my mindset, my first exhibition game, which I didn't understand exhibition at the time, I was like, oh, this is college. Like, this
time
is
to go.
Yeah, like this is college. And I end up having a double-double if I'm mistaken. I had like 14 points, 11 rebounds. But I was like, wow, this is gonna be a breeze.
Yeah.
Not knowing
And then the Big Ten schedule rolls in.
And then the first game, actually after the exhibition game, the first game coming around against is Louisiana Lafayette. I had another good game, like 12.7 rebounds. I'd never forget this. So like my mindset was like, oh, I'm out of here for sure. When it done.
Like, go to the league. Like, Mama, buy yourself a car because we go to the league.
Then the first real test comes around against St. John's in the Big East Big Ten Challenge, and I had like 2 points, bro. I went home and like literally like cried. Like I went to my room, shut my room mirror. I didn't talk to the mirror, nothing. I was like literally in tears, dog. Like, dang, like I missed my beat. I missed my shot, but definitely started off strong, man. But after that St. John's game, I bounced back with the big game, my first Big Ten game, or road game in Purdue, having 10 points in overtime and whatnot, helped us win that game, and my confidence skyrocketed back high. And after that game, I figured out how tough this league is and how scouting works, and all those looks that I got at Purdue were no longer there the next game against Northwestern, and my confidence kind of shot back down, and I got re-humbled. But I mean, man, my freshman year, I can take a lot that I learned from that year, and it was a great year for me and the team, I would say. So
yeah, I mean, obviously solid. Pretty good team. This is an NCAA tournament team, and you guys had a lot of success and won a game or two in that NCAA tournament.
Lost
right away.
Yeah.
Okay.
5-12 seed.
Oh yeah,
matchup.
that was a tough. That was the Middle Tennessee State one, right?
Yeah,
that was a tough one. But anyways, we'll move on past that. You play your first year. Everybody talks about that sophomore jump. Is that something you kind of had planned for that next year? Because obviously you stayed on campus, right? You stayed up here in Minneapolis, so you obviously had some sort of plan moving into that season. Like, I got to have a good year, and where was your head at?
Yeah. So after that tournament loss, we had an exit meeting with the Coach Patino, and he just set us down, and we just had a game plan. Everybody had their own individual game plan of what to get better at coming back to school. Mines were just getting physically better, tougher, and working on my jump shot. So I stayed on campus that whole summer, just working on my complete game. Didn't go home. Told my mom I couldn't do it. This is for better. So I stayed on campus and worked out. So other than that, I just grinded, man. Like, I literally lived in the gym. Like, if you can ask anybody that was around during those times, like, I was in the gym all day, 24/7, lifting weights on the court. That's all I did.
Is that because you knew that you had to have a big year? Or like, where was that from?
I knew my potential. Like, I knew what I showed my freshman year, and I knew that I can be a lot better. And I also got that buzz behind me, fans and just from, I don't know, the NBA level as well. Like, I knew I had the potential to be there. Yeah. So that buzz, it just drove me into another level and another gear, which I wanted to reach. So, and I thought it was reachable. So.
And you probably, at that point, you probably felt pretty confident about your game. Yeah. Obviously people are excited about you. You're rolling into a new year. You're a big recruit. You had a solid freshman year. You're living in the gym, so your jumper's got to be confident, all that kind of stuff.
Especially when you're young like that, man. Like, I know a lot of people, they try to tell you, like, don't pay attention to the media and don't stay off, like, you know what I'm saying, social media and all that. Yeah. But, like, you young, man. You going to pay attention to that stuff. And I did. And, like, it was all positive things at the time, so it kind of motivated me to give the people what they was expecting. So I stayed in the gym doing those times.
Yeah, and you obviously have a big summer. Fall rolls around, and this is kind of where Eric Curry's journey kind of starts, if you want to put it that way. Yeah. First football game of the season, correct?
Yes.
Obviously excited to have people back on campus. Campus is buzzing, frat row is busting, like. Gotta be like excited as hell. Like take us, like, before we even get into what happened, like, take us through like what like a basketball player going to a football game, like how fun is it, bro? Like,
no, it's incredible, especially Minnesota's first football game.
Oh
man.
yeah,
that's the build up for the whole season. Like that game right there is gonna be the part of the sold out, the most packed game there is all year. So definitely like. That whole journey from that morning, like you planned out your day 2 days ahead of time. Oh, yeah,
for sure. You are ready. You would know what you're wearing, all that.
I had a haircut appointment at 8 o'clock that morning. Like, I went and got a haircut, fresh, come back, ready, prepping, did what I did, had to go purchase what I had to purchase to be ready, and just relax, man, and then you want me to get to the story? I can get to the story if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, talking about the high emotions, like, so excited, so energetic, and then kind of take us through what happens that morning.
Yeah, so like I said, I had a haircut appointment early. That was planned probably a week ahead of time. Yeah. Get a fresh cut, come back, rest up for the big day, to party or whatever.
Yeah.
After that, we get a random message from our captain at the time, Nate Mason, to come play open gym, just to get a sweat in, because he knew everybody knows what goes on on the day of the first football game, just to get your body going, get a good sweat in. I didn't want to play. I was kind of bummed about that text message because I was so locked in and prepared to start my day and
party.
And live the great life of a college student.
Sure.
But yeah, man, he called that message. I actually was still laying in bed. I told my roommate at the time, Michael Hurt, that I wasn't gonna go. Like I was just gonna miss it, and I was gonna have to deal with the consequences later. But he kind of dragged me out of bed, like physically, like dragged me out of bed, like you coming. So I got up and went. Played well. I think I played like 3 or 4 games before the travesty happened. But during that 4th game, I just my luck, man. Like took the wrong step, knee buckle pop, and it was from then on game on. But that moment right there changed me for the better though, because I don't know, it's kind of humbling experience.
Yeah, I mean, what were your initial emotions? Obviously, like. You don't did you know for sure something's wrong? Did you know, so take us through your emotions?
So when it happened, as soon as I felt the buckle and the pain, whatever, I went down straight to the ground, grabbed my knee, just laying there for a minute. They picked me up, they moved me to the trainer's table for a second, while everybody, because nobody was in the gym. Luckily, the strength coach walked in the gym at the time it happened, so they getting the trainer and tell him to bring him down there. So as I'm waiting on him, I'm talking to Amir. Because Amir had ACL in high school, so he's telling me what you feeling. I'm telling him what I'm feeling, and I can tell Amir he didn't want to tell me right away, like you.
He doesn't want to be the guy to break the news.
Yeah, but he's telling me I can see it in his eyes. Like I know, that's my dog. Like I can see it in his eyes. So not too much there, and then they carry me to the locker room. I sit on the couch. I get my phone. Tell somebody to pass me my phone. The first initial thing was to call my mom, bro. Like I told you, I ain't go home that summer.
Yeah.
So
you ain't seen her in a while.
Yeah. So and she know why I didn't. and she was behind my
100%.
Yeah. We gonna go do this. We gonna go do it. Yeah. So me calling her was the most heartbreaking thing, man. Like I tore it. Like that's the only thing. As soon as she answered the phone, like she heard me weeping, and I was like, I tore it. And she was like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I'm like, I tore my knee. Yeah. And I broke down crying, bro. And she just she literally just she didn't say nothing else but man, we got this. She's all positive, all positive energy, all positive vibes. Yeah. And after that, get an MRI from the doctors and whatnot. And on the way back home, we actually got the call back immediately.
Yeah, right away.
And the trainer looked at me after he got off the phone, was basically told me that I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus. Yeah. And I just hit the group message right away. I told him because we was expected. We bought we had a 5 seed the year before, and we bought that whole team back. So we was expected to do really big things this next year. So I just told the guys man, y'all still can go win the Big Ten. This ain't stopping nothing. Y'all know I'm gonna be behind y'all. Yeah. And that was that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the way it happens is so tragic, and it's such a fast grouping of emotions. Because you probably go from I'm gonna be tough about this, and then I feel like if anybody were to call their mom, like I did both my times, and it's just the emotions flood you, and it takes over whatever kind of tough guy role you're trying to produce. Is that something that you knew would happen? How did you know your mom would have that kind of response? That's no question in your life.
Most definitely. She the toughest person I know. Of course. So she knows what everything I've been through. So she's gonna be that positive energy for me. Yeah. She's gonna always keep a positive energy. She's a hard worker herself. Mm-hmm. She knows this is a grind, so she ain't gonna sugarcoat nothing with me, and she gonna tell me it's gonna be all right, which everything always is gonna be anyway.
Yeah. So you go through the process, the surgery, all that kind of stuff. How did you deal with the circumstances mentally? Going through surgery. Obviously, we talked about before on the podcast the physical. You can't use your leg. You lose a bunch of muscle, all that kind of stuff. How did you take this first surgery with and deal with it mentally? What were some things maybe you relied on or looked out to, or maybe being around your teammates? Where did your mental health go, and how did you keep it up?
So it was hard for me at the start. I used a lot of just music.
Yeah.
Which is Lil Uzi Vert dropped a great album.
shout out Uzi.
During that time. But yeah, I listen to a lot of music, man. That really helped me. But also the guys on the team, right? Like I always credit those guys like really brothers. Like they kept me in the loop of things. Like they always want to be around. They always checked on me. They always did those things, and they just kept me a part of the team. So like that just motivated me in itself.
Yeah.
So like just being around those guys and just listening to music all the time, man, it got me through a lot. But I would say in the beginning, this definitely was tough from an aspect of just doing the repetition of the same thing every day over, and like you don't really see your progress in those moments, but like in months due time, like you see that progress, but in the moment you don't really see it, so it's kind of tough, man.
So was it kind of tough in that situation to think about what was next for you as a player? Like was doubt creeping in? Was where was your mental at in that sort of in terms of getting back on the court?
Yeah, the first one, I wasn't thinking about nothing about the future. I knew I was gonna bounce back from it. I always had that mindset because that's what everybody in my circle told me. Like they was always positive about it. So that was never a doubt in my mind after the first one. So like I was grinding to get back to the OE. So like it was I was locked in and ready to go.
And that's something that you did do, and you felt pretty confident heading into the, you miss all the 17-18 season, and then you're heading into the 18-19 season. Like, where are you as a basketball player, and where are you in terms of mentality of like being out there and being free and being Eric again?
Yeah, so I missed that first couple of games to start that season due to a second surgery, and I kind of rushed it back. I wouldn't blame nobody else. It was all me because I'm the type of person that always wanted to be there for my guys.
Exactly.
And I knew in the back of my mind like I could have helped the team. So like I kind of rushed it back, but I wasn't myself that season, I would say, at all. But I knew I can give enough to help the team out, which I did until the last game of the season where I messed my foot up.
Yeah, and we talk about giving enough to the team. You have your stats are you played in 15 games and you averaged 19 minutes, 4 points, 3 boards. Where did your mind go through that season? Because I think it's tough as an athlete, especially as a guy like you who wants to get better and increase your numbers. And I know stats aren't everything. You make an impact on the floor in a very specific way that is beyond points and rebounds. But where were you at in terms of that year? Obviously battling injuries and that kind of stuff. Like how did your mentality play out as like a basketball player that year?
As a basketball player, I would say, man, I was just trying to do every little detail possible. I knew I didn't have to do much. We had Jordan Murphy, we still had Amir, we had Dupree, we had all those guys still. So I wasn't thinking nothing basketball related, and I knew I had the Daniel Oturu coming in. So my mind was really, as a basketball player, I was really more of locked in as being a coach and helping Daniel that whole season because I knew him coming in, he would need somebody in his ear, especially, and I knew exactly what he was going through and what he can do. So I knew he could help the team out more than what I can do on a stat wise. So me just doing the little details on the court was going to benefit the team, and I was going to stay in his ear to carry the rest of the load.
Carry the torch, especially because the way that Daniel did it, too. He had a phenomenal career at Minnesota. You go through that season, and obviously talk about not being the healthiest, not having the numbers you want to have necessarily, but making impact the way you do. You then hurt your ankle and you miss foot. Yeah,
was okay. Liz Frank
fracture. Yeah. How is your head right now? Like, you've been through so much shit already, in such a short time, and you're back out there, and you're feeling like you can play basketball pretty soon, and then you go through that. Like, where did your head go initially out of that injury?
So after the ACL, like I told myself personally, like if I ever tore my other ACL, I'd be done playing basketball for sure. Yeah. So me hurting my foot was like, oh my God. it wasn't a positive, but it was like, man, we can deal with this one. Like this is easy. And they already told me it was 4-month recovery. Like this is nothing compared to ACL. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be light. Yeah. Like it's nothing. But my mind did. First couple of days it was hard on me because like that was a good team that year. Yeah. I knew I could help them out as well. Like I told you, went to the tournament, and me watching just it sucks. But like I knew my mind never wavered because like I knew I was coming back off a foot injury, which is gonna be really okay.
Yeah, and that's where your mindset's at in terms of the tournament. And you're like, 4 months, I'll be ready for the next season, which is the 1920 season. Yeah. So you're getting ready for the 1920 season, and take us through that summer. How's your foot feeling? How's your mental feeling? What's going into this next season?
Yeah. So that whole summer was the foreign trip. We had a foreign trip. So I really didn't. I practiced, but I wasn't practicing as much. They kept it light because I was coming back off the foot, and it was amazing time because Peyton Willis came, and it was his first year he was able to play, so we was able to get back on the court with each other. So it was going to be a great time. So we took the foreign trip. I rested that whole trip, didn't play, just rehabbed still. As we came back to start official practices and whatnot, that's when the second ACL happened. But I felt good. I was balling again. I felt like young EC
young E's
again.
back.
Literally, man.
Young E's back.
And then the second one happened.
Yeah. So obviously it's a string of different things, and two knee surgeries, and the foot, the Liz Frank, and then you're back on the court, and it was a closeout drill, right?
No, it wasn't. We was 5-on-5.
5-on-5. Okay. And you closing out, and the other one goes.
Yeah.
You knew right away?
Yeah. This one I knew right away. So it's actually another crazy story, funny story about the second one. Like I told you, I was on a minute restriction coming back off the foot. So obviously the trainers, they know. They always know what's best for you.
Sure.
But as a hard-headed student athlete, you always going to fight them back. Yeah. So I was always fighting them back for like the entire week, bro. Telling them, give me more time. I need more time. Like I'm feeling good. Like I'm not tired. I'm not winded. And the day they gave me a little bit more time after fighting them from the whole week, and they left me out there. They was like, okay, you can stay out there a little bit longer. Man, I ain't gonna lie, my legs was shot. Like I was so gassed playing. Tired. And I was like, bro, forget it though. Like I'm out here now. Like I'm just gonna hoop. But I was so gassed, and the ball got thrown out on the perimeter to Peyton. I closed out on Peyton. He drove right. I tried to step and reach, and it buckled and popped, bro. And I literally like oh shit. I walked off the floor, walked over there on the sideline to Coach Liv, and like I just bent down. He was like, "You all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good. Like ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm straight. I think it's straight." Yeah. And then Ben Fields walked around the court the long way, and he basically came and got me and told me to come to the training room. As we was walking underneath the hoop by the film room. Yep. He basically I took a step and it buckled on me, and I was like, oh, like in my head I was like, oh, like nobody saw me buckle, but I was like, I felt it. And as I kept walking, like I just had my head down. But I got in the training room, man, and Ben Fields, he did the Lockman's test. There's no stability there, and you can tell in his eyes again, like. And he's been with me through the first journey and the foot journey. And you can tell like he didn't want to tell me then. He just kept it positive, like, oh, well, I don't know for sure. He gave me I don't know for sure. We gotta go get an MRI.
But you knew.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I knew, and I can tell in his eyes like he was literally about to cry. Like he was literally teary eyed, and I was like, man, dang, like this is crazy. Now, like I told you, I always told myself like if I tear it again, I'm done playing basketball. And what's always crazy to me about that day is like Brady Ruru got a scholarship that day. And we knew it, so I didn't. So me knowing I tore my ACL, they put ice on my knee, and I walked back out there on the floor, and Brady got a scholarship at the end of the practice. And I remember him asking me before he knew he got the scholarship. He was like, "Bro, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, bro, I'm good. Like everything good." Then we celebrated him after that practice, and it was like I'm going through the worst time of my life, but like I'm gonna be happy for you, bro. Like this is your moment. Like I'm not gonna put my burdens on
I think that just talks about who you are as a man and as a basketball player as well. Looking out for others. I think you talk about that kind of stuff, and it's something I'm kind of dealing with and struggling with to this day. Is being able to look okay and look good and be there for other people, even though you having this own personal battle inside. How hard was that in that moment? Especially you want to. He's your guy. You want to celebrate him. He earned that scholarship, and you want to be excited for him. You don't want to take that day away from him. But internally, like what's going on. Talk about how tough that is.
It's kind of weird, man, because like I'm a kind of guy like you said, like I don't want to be the party pooper. Like I always want to be the life of the party. So like even if I'm going through the darkest times of my life, like you ain't gonna know. Like, and it's not just me like masking it. It's more like I just want to be positive. I want to have a positive mindset. Like I want to shift the gear of like not thinking negative about what I'm going through, and find a positive about it. Like we having fun tonight, or we just doing something positive. Like why am I down on myself? But it was tough, like in the beginning, because like you said, like bro, I'm going through a lot. Like when I get home, I cry. But like when I'm around the guys, like we having fun, we kicking it. But it was tough though. But if you ask anybody doing that second time, and everybody called me after we officially found out, everybody called me, bro. Like I'm on FaceTime smiling, like I'm literally cheesing to my own, like coach. I'm gonna be like Coach Patino called me. I'm cheesing like coach. I'm gonna be all right, bro. We good. Like everything good.
How do you keep that consistent? Because I know before you get into surgery and before you go through all the trauma of surgery, like how do you keep that consistent through a second time? Does the first time help? Is that something that leads into it?
From the mind, like when I told you, when you told, like, what's coming your way. So like that always helps. Like what you got to do. Yeah. And also Amir Coffey's dad, Richard Coffey, he came and gave me one of the best motivation speeches of my life. Because I told my mom, like I told you, I was done playing basketball. Like I told my mom, like I called my mom, like I'm done. Like I don't want to play this no more. Yeah. And she called him, and he came to the apartment and closed the door, sat on my bed, man. Like he literally like gave me the best motivation speech of my life. Like, bro, you're not done. Yeah. Like it's not over. Like what you talking about, you done. Like this ain't over.
Were you listening to that, or were you hard headed and like, I'm done?
No, I definitely listened to it, because like I look at him as a father figure. Like I told you, me Amir's like we literally brothers. Like so I always listen to what everybody got to say. So I definitely listened to it, and he definitely was helpful in that piece of my life. Like he definitely helped me come back from that.
Yeah. You go through that whole rehab process, and you talk about, being that guy that's positive and being around you. How were the tough days for you? Because obviously they come up, and any athlete that denies that is, it's just not true. Yeah. I'm going through the same thing right now, 3 months in, and it's like there is tough days. How did Eric Curry maintain that positive mental health, positive mental side that you have?
Yeah. Man, I cried. Like you said, it's tough, bro. Like I cried it out. Like I cried it out many days, especially on the phone with my mom. Like I break down, bro. Yeah. But having those people in your corner, like it literally, like if you need to get something off your chest, like having those people to talk to, like just get it off your chest. Like don't bottle it up. Yeah. And like I always said, like somebody, I don't know where I got it from, but I seen some clip where it's like, bro, the mind is a powerful thing. Like if you just literally flip a little mindset, like I know it's tough. You flip that little mindset of just always thinking of positive, like it's always a positive outcome in any situation you in. Yeah. And like even if it's the smallest thing, so like always using that, and like it really works, fam. Yeah. Like if you literally just find a positive in anything, like and use it as your motivation, and just get stuff off your chest. Like I learned that the second way better than I did the first time, because the first time I bottled everything up, and I literally didn't help me at all. Yeah. But the second time I had therapy and all the type of stuff, like the team set up for me. So and just the people I had around me, my teammates, they really like kept me in the loop, and I stayed around them. Like I ain't separate myself from them. Yeah. Like I was always still around and felt a part of something still. So like it just kept me motivated to get back on the floor with them, to be out there with the guys.
Yeah, we'll get back to the rest of your career here in a second. We want to give a shout out to Northern Chill water, which I'm sipping here. If you're watching the YouTube version, 7.8 pH, most delicious water in the world. Check them out at northernchill.com and use code WWTV20. That's WWTV20 for a discount off your water purchases. Northern Chill, thank you for sponsoring the podcast. So yeah, you go through the rehab process that whole year, and that's the year before COVID with the shutdown, right? Or is that the COVID year with no fans? That's the year before, right? Because you played a year with no fans in stands, right? You were out there playing.
That was the year with COVID. Like it hit that tournament that went. Yeah.
And that even adds on to the rehab process. Where were you at that? Because COVID hits in the winter time, right? You guys are you tournament team at that point?
No, we had to do a little bit more damage in the conference tournament to make it.
Okay. So then you go through that whole year, and then you're coming back for the last Eric Curry's last season, right? Yeah, the 2020-2021 season. in your head, that was the last season, right?
Yeah.
You were done after this year.
Nobody knew about that until the end of the year. But I definitely went into it. Marcus knew, Liam knew, a couple other guys knew, but like I didn't express that like to the public, but everybody kind of knew inside that this was gonna be my last go around. And I only did it because of Marcus and Liam. Like I knew those guys and Gabe, and I knew those guys had great futures after them to play basketball, and I just wanted to be out there to help them and be a leader. Basically like that Udonis Haslam role for the team, but just be there for them guys and play for those guys, and just see what I got. Just last time, just to see what I got.
Do you feel like you kind of like deserve that to yourself? You know, especially going through all these injuries, like having a season where you don't have to worry, you can just go out there and just play because you love the game. Is that kind of where your head was at there? That season.
That season, I wouldn't say that much. It was just basically trying to, I would say. This past year, which we can get in if you want to get in a little later, but that was that kind of that year.
And that's what we get into. And then I end up committing to Minnesota. I get my first text from Eric Curry, the graduate assistant. So I said it in my phone. Eric texts me. He goes, "Tap me in, bro. Eric Curry, GA." And I just remember laughing because I grew up a Gopher fan, watching you play for however many years, wanting you to be this superstar and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, this is Eric Curry, like this is like somebody that I look up to. This is GA. But then obviously you decide to come back. You talk publicly about how Peyton Willis was such a big influence for you to come back. How was that? We'll talk about the initial decision to come back. Like, exciting, happy, like how was that process like initially that like I'm gonna come back and play one more year of Power 5 college basketball?
It was tough, super tough. As you was around in those conversations, I used to walk randomly in the training room and talk to R-Dot about should I play or just joke around
because you were not in shape
at all. So I basically had conversations with Feldy and R-Dot about, I don't know, is it possible that, you know what I'm saying, I can get back in shape and whip it out and give this one more go and help the team. And y'all was always in my ear every day telling me to come on, just give it one more shot. Peyton never, I wouldn't say pressure, but he never was on my back about it. Like he always, like he was going to support me for whatever decision I want, but I knew he wanted me to play with him, just to give it one more go, just because we haven't played with each other since high school. And I knew coach and the team needed me to play, because it was just limited on bigs or whatever. So it was tough, but it kind of made it easy after the talk with R-Dot and Feldy about everything and how everything can go, and just had a plan. Because coach gave me a 2-week time frame basically to start working out secretly, to come back and start working out.
And that's what I knew it too. I was like, the whole time I was like, I would pick and pride and joking like, oh, you're gonna be playing this year, like, hell no, bro, no, I'm not gonna be playing, there's no way. And then suddenly I like, okay, why is Eric running on a treadmill? What is Eric doing dribbling a basketball? Why is he shooting middies? Like I was like, what's going on? Because I'm hurt at this time, so I was like, we need somebody out there, because we don't, we got to figure that out. And then you play in the season, you have career highs across the board. You average 28 minutes per game, 8 points, 6 rebounds. You were our rock, you were our energy, you were the guy out there for us, whether it was, having a big night like you had at Michigan State, or, a night like, initial Big Ten games where, you're that old head, you're that Udonis Haslam, you're that, we gotta get together here, because if we get one loss, then you always talked about this, one loss can spiral, and you were always in our ear about, how it is to play in the Big Ten, How did it feel? Like through the whole process, you talk about how you felt knee-wise, mentally. Like, how did it feel to be out there playing basketball?
It felt amazing, bro. Like, it literally it felt like someone just was lifted off my shoulders, and it just felt good from a mental aspect. Like, I still had it. I kind of gave up on myself. As you know, like I told you, I was done playing basketball, and coach did a great job. The whole coaching staff did a great job of just instilling that motivation back in me. Like, I always thank those guys, because Kemp I used to sit down with Coach Kemp, because he was my position, like the coach that I had to report to, and we always sit around and talk. He used to ask me the question. I had no answer for him during those time periods of like, what do I want out of it? Like, what do I want to, what I want out of it? And basically, I had no answer for him, but man, that was one of the best seasons, that I mentally and just physically, I lost a lot of weight. I knew that was a big part of me hurting my knees, or I assume hurting my knees. So me losing all that weight and just feeling good physically and mentally, man, and being in a good space.
I think, like you say, physically, like you get back in shape, you're around, you're jumping around again. There's some days at practice where you feel good and you're like throwing dunks like 360. I'm like, hold on, EC, hold on now. But no, I think that kind of stuff physically increases, how you feel mentally, getting your body in shape, and because basketball was your life for a long time. Especially we talk about how highly sought after you were as a recruit, and you played AAU, and basketball was the only sport you played. So it's like that thing's my life, and now I'm kind of back into it. What were the biggest challenges that season for you? Like, obviously we'll get into the the ankle injury in next question, but what were the biggest challenges for you mentally that season, or physically?
Mentally, I probably would say just like it also was a positive thing for me, but like the team like leaning on me that heavy was definitely a challenge, because like I felt like if I had the slightest of game or one of the bad games, like I felt like I let everyone down. Like I felt like it was on my shoulders, like we lost because of Eric or whatnot. But it definitely was a positive to feel that way, because like I told you, I gave up on myself, and like for y'all to look at me as like, oh, this is our leader, and this is like we throwing the ball down there to E, like E go get a bucket, like that definitely like still like it gave me like a sense of hope, like damn, I still got it, like these people believe in me, shit, I believe in myself too. But that definitely was one of the challenges other than the ankle injury.
So that's kind of the physical challenge we'll get into here. I mean, we go play Michigan State. Crazy game. My first time in that place, the Breslin Center. I mean, it was rocking. Like you go in there and you beat Michigan State. It's a big deal. And you're having a hell of a game. Probably, would you probably say one of your best college basketball games?
Yeah, most definitely. Other than the Penn State game, man, that definitely was one of the best games, just because like you said, man, like that place gets crazy, it gets like super loud. Insane. And like for me to have one of those type of games where I'm the reason why this place is dead silent, like people shooting free throws, I'm back there in the back waiting on defense, and I'm looking around the stadium and like I'm like, this place is dead silent, and I've been in here when we getting blew out, but like we up right now, and it's because of me.
And
like,
and for me personally, I was hearing a different kind of noise from the crowd. It wasn't like the cheering Michigan State. It was like, what the heck is going on here? Like, why is Minnesota coming in here, and why are they beating us? And I remember like the crowd is like on your back, like they're like right behind you, and this chick is just yelling the whole time and just like cussing and just talking crazy about us. And like I remember specifically Jamo gets the block, and then you go down on his ankle. This I'm going through these different emotions because I see you down. So first of all, I'm freaking out. This girl's behind me screaming obscenities about you, like, get his ass up, like, he's faking it. Like, Michigan State is stressing out at this point. And then, we go out there and we carry you off, which scared me even more. What did you think right away? Like, you go on Jamo's ankle, is it done? Done?
He landed on my ankle as I was trying to sprint off, and it kind of like, at the moment, I ain't gonna lie, I felt the pop. It probably just some in my head, but it was just awkward. It's just a sharp pain that hit my foot, and I just felt like it just gave out on me. So it was kind of scary. I thought, initial thought with my history, I thought I was done.
Yeah, it's over with.
But carried me to the sideline. I got over there, kind of stood on it, tried to put weight on it. It was no go. Like it literally was just giving out on me. And that was the rest of the history.
Yeah, and I mean, looking forward past that week, you miss the one game, and then we're slowly bringing you back into practice, and I could just see how frustrated you were. Where did that frustration kind of come from? Obviously, it's physical. You can't do what you want to do, but I feel like that's not 100% of the battle. We talk about. I remember walking into practice and just seeing you in the hallway with your head down, like crying, and all I could do was just go over and give you a hug because I knew you were, fighting something. What was that emotion coming from?
Like I said, like one of those challenges, like like y'all being so dependent on me, and like it was also positive. But just that, like me knowing that the team needed me, seeing the team sitting out those games and seeing like the things that I contributed, like being a problem while we lost, like it frustrated me and it hurted me. So I called myself doing everything that I was supposed to do to get back on the schedule of playing, and I didn't see progress, bro. Like it literally was just pain, and like it's just frustrating, bro, just to be back out there.
Yeah, and I think, for me too, I was going through the first injury and dealing with it and seeing you in so much pain. I knew where that pain was coming from. Obviously your ankle hurts, but that's not what the pain is. It's feeling like you're not you're not living up to what you can for this team, and you know, living, you know, hurting the team, and then just seeing your raw emotion through that, like, it inspires the way I go about every single day, you know, here on out. Is just like being that positive, you know, being that guy. And especially now this year, we got 5 freshmen. So it's like, you know, being in these new guys' ears, you know, trying to, you know, help them in any way I can. You know, what's kind of like finishing up here, wrapping up. Like,
hold on. Can we go back on that other, the why I
go
was
back,
frustrated?
Go back, yeah.
Also, the selfish part of me.
Yeah.
Me coming off that good game against Michigan State.
Yeah, hold on, Eric's back.
I'm looking ahead on the schedule. I'm like, these next upcoming games are these against weak bigs. Like, we already faced the tough bigs. These against weak bigs. If I just play like this against Michigan State, I'm gonna go on a run here and dominate the Big Ten. So me getting hurt at that time was also on my mind. Like, bro, like, I'm gonna miss the weakest stretch that we possibly got.
I could go crazy for a couple weeks here.
If I just did that on the road, and I know I'm gonna kill these bigs for sure. So it was just tough from that aspect.
Yeah. And then you put the chains on the bench because you know you're going to be on Big Ten.
Every time. Every time. I know they're going to talk about me at some point in the game. I have to look good.
100%. You know, wrapping up here, we'll close the podcast off. You know, you go through this crazy journey, you know, process. You know, I won't call it anything other than that, because I think that's what it is. You know, it's a process, and it's this life that you're trying to figure out your life and which direction it's bringing you in this life. What's your final message, you know, to any younger kids out there dealing with injury, or older guys, you know, mentally, physically? Like, what's the biggest thing that you could tell, you know, a 15-year-old kid that's going through an injury?
Yeah, the biggest thing I can probably say is just think of your life as a book. Like I told you, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, you gonna want that novel. Yeah. You want your story to be the bestseller. Mm-hmm. I don't know novels or bestsellers that don't got a great ending. Yeah. So why give up without getting that great ending and that the ending that you want and the ending that's gonna sell. Yeah. So just keep grinding, keep pushing, because that's what's gonna sell your book. Yeah, for sure.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. You know, thank you, Eric, for coming in the studio with me today. You know, obviously, like we mentioned before, working for the Big Ten now. You know, on to bigger, brighter, and you know, amazing things. And I'm so glad to call you my friend and a role model. And I really appreciate you joining the pod. So it's been your boy Parker Fox.
Yes, sir. Eric Curry,
and
baby.
We are out. Thank you guys for watching. Tune in next week.